Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Please bear with me. I am a social worker and a therapist, and I don't do well with public speaking, so we're going to try this. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to stand here tonight. As a queer and trans person, I am painfully aware that not many of us make it to graduate school. A lot of people are pushed out long before they ever have the chance. So being here feels incredibly meaningful, but it also feels very heavy and complicated. There are a lot of people who should have had the chance to be in spaces like this, but never had the opportunity to make it here. And I went into higher education because I wanted to understand why that happens. Why some people are able to stay and others are not. And I wanted to do something about it. That's what led me to social work. I wanted a career where I could sit with people in real moments, understand the systems shaping those moments, and work to make those systems more equitable. The decision to pursue my master's degree came with a lot of uncertainty. I was thinking, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to afford another year of unpaid labor? How can I keep up with the program? Can I make this work? Can I sustain this for the length of my Master of Social Work program? But when I found out I received the Point Scholarship, I felt genuine relief. It gave me room to breathe. And it made this path feel possible and real in a way that it hadn't to that point. It also meant something to be recognized as a queer and trans student in that process. It felt like an acknowledgement that the way I see the world and the way I show up in this work has value in this profession. Grad school itself was a mix of things. I found community. I found mentors. I also found myself navigating spaces that were not always as inclusive as people like to think they are. In my practicum, I was the first openly queer and trans intern on my team. And after a while, it became really clear what that meant. I found myself working with all of the trans clients. It says a lot about the system. But it also became one of the most meaningful parts of my clinical training. I remember sitting with a client and we were talking about goals. She told me she wanted to start HRT because looking in the mirror was something that she dreaded. And I reflected back that she wanted to be able to see herself in that reflection. She paused and said, "Wait, yeah, that's exactly it." And we both just kind of sat there for a second because that's not a given. That's usually the first thing that we have to explain. There were also moments where I'd gently correct a colleague on a client's pronouns, and I'd catch this subtle shift from my client. It was nothing dramatic, just like they took a momentary break from bracing for impact, from anticipating ignorance or cruelty. Those moments carry tremendous weight when someone is used to having to defend their existence before they can even ask for help. Point made it possible for me to stay in school and stay in this work. They allowed me to continue my training and keep showing up for the people I serve. Graduating with my Master of Social Work is an achievement that felt insurmountable for so many years. It also comes with a lot of responsibility. I entered social work because I believe that healing and justice should not be separate conversations. And my career goals revolve around that belief. I plan to pursue clinical licensure while I continue to do policy and advocacy work because I want to support people directly. And I also want to be part of changing the systems that shape their lives. To the donors and volunteers here tonight, your support has immense impact. It shapes who gets to stay in school, and it shapes who will be there when someone reaches out for help and needs to be understood the first time. I hope that in the future it becomes normal to see trans students in spaces like this, that people continue to invest in us and create pathways for us to stay. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of that.